Congratulations on your purchase of a solid acacia wood table. There are no particle board or MDF components in these tables. There is no veneers, and after assembly, they are designed to last a lifetime. These instructions are designed for 4 different sets of tables: the Recliner series, the Plant Stand series, the End Table series, and the Console series, both with and without bottom shelf. The cover page in the instruction manual has a telephone number and email address to request missing parts and or assistance with assembly. On opening the package, you should lay all the parts out on a soft work surface, such as the piece of carpeting we have under our table as shown. Compare the pieces to the instruction manual showing the exploded view and the list of parts that should be included. Please note that you also need a Phillips screwdriver to assemble the table. The Phillips screwdriver needs to have at least a 3.5-inch long shank in order to stick the screwdriver down through the holes on the apron sides and to screw them into the bottom of the tabletop. Most of the pieces on the table will have a finished side and a semi-finished side. The bottom of the tabletop is semi-finished and has the pilot indents for you to screw the sides into. All of the tables in this series will have 8 pilot pre-dents in the bottoms of the tabletop. Please make sure you can locate all 8 before beginning construction. You can circle them with a marker and then begin the assembly of the table. The first step in assembling the table is to mount the drawer slide crossbar and use 2 20mm round head wood screws. Slip them through the top of the crossbar so that the wood screws stick out the bottom, and then align them with the pilot indents in the bottom of the tabletop and simply screw them in. You want the screws to be snug, not overly tightened. Also, make sure that the rounded end of the crossbar is towards the front of the table as indicated by the sticker. Next is the assembly of the apron sides of the table. You'll notice that there's a inner side and an outer finish side to these. The outer side is the one that'll show. There's also a bottom and top to the apron side. The top has the wider hole. That's where you drop your 20mm round head screws in, and they will go through that larger side and then fall all the way through to the bottom of the apron, and that's where you'll screw it into the pilot indents. So you align them with the pilot indents. You can see the screws sticking through. Simply align it and then take your screwdriver and screw them in. Note that the semi-finished side with the grooves should point towards the center of the table. Repeat the process for the second part number 3, the opposite side of the table. Align the screw tips with the pilot indents and simply screw them in with your Phillips screwdriver. Moving on to the assembly of the rear apron. Opposite the end with the drawer. Only one 20mm screw is necessary. Again, you drop it in through the top of the apron, align it with the pilot indent, and screw it in. Part number 5 is the drawer side front apron, and again, use 20mm screw, round headed, drop it in through the hole with the wide portion, and then screw it in, again with the grooves facing towards the center of the table. Again, you want a nice snug fit, nice and tight, but not overly tightened. We provide 4 steel reinforcement brackets for each corner. This will help assemble the legs and will also brace the table corners against any impact for the lifetime of the table. Simply align the edges of the bracket with the grooves and slide them in. This will also align the end aprons with the side aprons to make sure the table is square. Get all 4 brackets in place, and then we can move on to the assembly of the legs. There are 8 bolts and 8 washers to assemble the legs. Thread the bolt through the washer, then stick it into the bracket. Adjust the bracket up till the bolt will go into the female receptacle in each leg, and lightly finger tighten them in. Repeat the process then with all 4 legs till all are braced with the brackets but still loose, so that we can now insert the bottom shelf. Once the legs are in place, take the bottom shelf with the correct side facing down and gently place it into the notches of the 4 legs. Once the bottom shelf is resting in the notches of the 4 legs, it's best to tighten the legs up so it kind of locks the shelf in place before you try to tighten it with the wood screws into the legs. Now that the legs are surrounding the shelf and holding it reasonably into place, you can use another 20mm round-headed flat screw, insert it into any corner of the bottom shelf. Center the shelf onto the leg. There are no pre-drilled holes, so you need to center it and then just screw it in. Finish all 4 legs, and we'll be ready to move on to the next step. Make sure that the shelf is snugly attached to each leg. The final step in the main table assembly is to put the small screws into the brackets for reinforcement on each side. This will keep the brackets in place over the lifetime of the table. It's redundant, but it adds another layer of security and integrity to the table that will, again, allow it a lifetime of use. There are 2 screws for each corner bracket. Once those are snugly in place, we can move on to the drawer assembly. There are 5 pieces to the drawer, including the drawer bottom and the bracket, which is attached to the rear piece. Use the 20mm flathead screws to attach each side of the drawer frame. And once you've got one of the sides on, you can take the drawer bottom, insert it into the groove, and then set it down so you can assemble the rest of the drawer. Take your other side of the drawer and place it on so that the groove is inserted, align it, and then screw it in. The next piece that goes on is the drawer front. Again, there's a grooved edge that has to go over the drawer bottom. Put the screws, the 20mm flathead screws, in the side and screw them in. The final step on assembly of your now gorgeous solid acacia wood table is the adornment of the drawer with its drawer pull, solid oil rubbed bronze knob that just screws on clockwise after you push your bolt through, and that gets it on tight. Now on the back side of the drawer there is a nylon bracket, which is your slide that goes over the drawer slide you assembled earlier on the bottom of the tabletop. Simply tilt up your table slightly, bend that drawer in at an angle, and then get it over the slide, and it'll just glide right on, and it'll glide back and forth beautifully for the life of the table. So here it is, your solid acacia wood end table, in this case a recliner table in dark mahogany. This table, again, will not be damaged due to moisture or some of the other issues people have with particle board or MDF. It should last you the rest of your life, and in 4 or 5 years I'm sure you'll be very happy that you bought solid wood. Please take time to leave feedback on your purchase, and if you have additional questions or comments, please call 360-883-6082.